let's change into some sports here. So Ben Askren, who I'm a big fan of, and he's also Team MAGA, so he's a conservative, so that's cool. Discounts Jake Paul as boxer, says he will KO him in coming match. Just did this article today. And for those of you who don't know, Jake Paul is a YouTuber, young kid YouTuber, just did a bunch of prank videos and vlogs. And has since he and his brother Logan Paul transferred into combat sports. I believe they both fought 2 times each. Jake Paul's 2-0. He just fought Nate Robinson, a former basketball player, and knocked him out pretty brutally. The other guy he fought was a YouTuber as well, I think. So he's 2-0. He has a WEC amateur belt that they gave him. I think that was more for show. And then, of course, Ben Askren, the former UFC fighter, Bellator and one ONE welterweight champion. So he's also Olympic wrestler. A lot of people think he is the best wrestler in MMA. He's retired since after he got brutally knocked out with a knee by Jorge Masvidal. So let's read this article. Former UFC fighter, Bellator and one welterweight champion, Ben Askren, has agreed to box Jake Paul, but he may be overlooking Jake Paul's boxing skills. And I'd love to hear from you guys if there's enough people out there that are into this stuff. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Jake Paul has called out many fighters since making his boxing debut in early 2020. Most have not taken the bait. Ben Askren has taken Jake up on his offer. He's finally got what he is looking for. He was calling out, Dylan Dennis, who I'm a big fan of, Conor McGregor, who's my boy. Conor McGregor is obviously like way up there. Like that's just shooting for the stars, of course. That's never going to happen ever. Unless like Conor's old and retired, maybe. But Dylan Dennis, there's a thing about going back and forth, but Dylan's injured. And of course, he's got his knee worked on. So thank you. Got his knee worked on. So basically, he's not going to be able to fight until months down the road. And of course, Jake he's such a troll. He says, "Oh, you're a chicken, you're a pussy, you're dodging out." Sorry. You're scared to fight me, but it's really that he's injured. That's that's the real reason. So he calls out Ben Askren, and Ben Askren, who is retired and just got hip surgery, hip replacement. He said, "All right, let's do it." He said he's making a lot of money. He's making more money than he ever did in MMA, and that's Bellator 1 and also UFC. So that's great for him. The details of the bout are still a bit in limbo, but according to Askren, it will be 8 rounds, probably 180 or 190 pounds, and maybe in April. So it has officially been set for April. April 18th, I think it is. I'm not for certain on that. Askren has a long, impressive list of accomplishments in combat sports, but he has never been known for his striking capabilities. In fact, it's become sort of a running joke in MMA. And if you don't know what I mean, I'll show you real quick here. I'll show you real quick.
Hands are away from your face, and Damian Maia into the world that he's most comfortable. Maia that he's most uncomfortable at this range.
This fight's brought to you by Naga World, the betting resort in Cambodia. Oh, Ben Askren got taken.
It's particularly Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Twice previously in his time and good in Philadelphia. Decision versus Jay Haran.
Nice leg kick.
That was skill set of the other. So some wrestling from Maia and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt.
I'm Ben Askren. I'm Bellator's welterweight world champion, and I'm going to show you how to use the Muay Thai heavy bag. The drill for the Muay Thai heavy bag is a kick drill. What you do is
Throws the takedown.
That's not bad right there.
He tries to get close, clinch.
Has a little kick.
We've seen Maia.
While spinning back elbow.
It's so subjective when
Maia
Look, Steve, he's getting a bounce back.
All right, so that's enough. That's enough hating on my boy, man. And of course, those are the low lights. So I mean, I'm sure you can find some, decent shots he's landed. I'm sure. But yeah, and let's just go on here. I'll give you my take on it in a minute. Despite this, Askren said while on Ariel Helwani's MMA Hour today that he will TKO Jake Paul in the 7th round and has zero respect for Jake Paul's skills. Jake Paul is a little bitch boy. He's some rich celebrity who wants to pretend he's a fighter by fighting guys who are really bad. Ariel asked Ben if he gives any credit to Jake Paul for being 2-0 and looking halfway decent in the ring. Askren said, "No, I really can't. I find it very difficult to do so. How can you give credit when he's fighting guys who literally look like they've never fought before?" Which, I mean, yeah, you're right. Nate Robinson, he's an athletic guy, but of course he's not a boxer. The guy didn't even train for the fight with Jake. I think that was really fucking stupid on his part. But hey, whatever. I'm sure he got paid a little, so that's cool. The lead up to this fight will be so entertaining. Askren is one of the best trash talkers in the game, and Jake Paul is just as good. Jake Paul already followed Ben's wife on Instagram. This is really funny. Just as an ultimate troll. Look at this. Jake Paul following. He's only following Triller, which is the company that's putting on the fight. Oh, that's funny. And then Ariel asked him about it. He's like, it's funny. He didn't really care. This is a really long interview. I recommend any fight fans check this out. It'll be on, obviously, ESPN MMA, or if you want to go here to realNSC.com, check this out. And then Jake Paul also did a interview on the MMA Hour later on that day, today. I didn't do anything for that because it just happened before I went live. But, all right. So I'm going to give you a prediction here. So I love Ben Askren. Again, he's a conservative MAGA. I like him a lot. I respect him. He seems like a really, really good dude. He has a lot of love for wrestling and, MMA. And he was undefeated for the longest time. And then he came over to the UFC, won his first bout, and I think he lost twice in the UFC. One was the really bad knockout with Masvidal. I think he fought somebody before that and lost. I didn't watch that fight. So he came over and did that and basically just left and said, "I'm done." Because he injured his hip, needed a hip replacement, and he just kind of wasn't with it anymore. He didn't really want to do it. He's a coach for wrestlers, like a high school wrestling team or something like that. I don't know what it is, but he's really into all that. He's got a beautiful family and stuff, so he said, "I'm out." But specifically, he said, I'm not saying I'm never going to fight again. I'm just saying, for now, I'm done. I'm never going to train for a belt again. But if something comes up that seems fun, I'll take it. And he showed his scar on his hip. It's huge. It looks so gnarly in that interview. So definitely go check that out. But my prediction, honestly, is probably a pretty bad fight. Honestly, I'm gonna watch the fight, and I'll watch it, and all that. I'll be rooting for Ben, obviously, because he's the big underdog here. Even like MMA fighters, like Darren Till was calling Ariel before the show and was like, "Man, he's gonna get his ass beat. Why is he doing this? Blah blah blah." I mean, I think it's cool, to get some money, man. The last one got a bunch of money. 8 rounds. He and Ben even said, my power's not that great, so that's why I'm saying 7th round. He's like, "Oh, okay." Ariel asked, like, "Why in the 7th round?" "Well, my power's not so good. That's why I'm giving me till the 7th round." And he may be trolling with that. Maybe he's gonna go for the knockout. But I think, oh man, see, this is hard because it's one of those bouts where it's like, is it even going to be 100% real? Like the McGregor fight. Well, no, not the McGregor. That's not the best one. But the Mayweather and Shinsuke Nakamura, whatever his name is. No, that's the wrestler. Whatever that guy was he fought overseas. That was so fake when he got knocked out. So fake. But that was fake as hell. The Red Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson fight, I don't think that was fake, but they did the draw, which was complete BS. Tyson won that fight. I think Tyson looked really good. My boy Roy didn't look so good, but hey, whatever. Get your payday. But so I don't think anyone gets knocked out here. I mean, Ben Askren, to be honest, does have a pretty good chin. I mean, he took some major shots from Robbie Lawler, who's a beast. He's very strong and very good stand-up. He didn't get knocked out, and he ended up winning that fight. I know it was a controversial finish. I get that, but he won the fight. His hand was raised. So, besides all the, stuff about, he wasn't really not out. He gave gave the thumbs up, whatever. But he won. End of story. And he took some major shots in that fight. If you go back and watch, he got really hurt in that fight, and he got really clipped and didn't seem to really hurt him. So I think he could take punches. Just his head movement is really not good, as you saw in those clips. He's kind of like stiff in the neck. I don't know, man. I don't think he gets knocked out, and I definitely don't think he knocks Jake out. I'll be shocked at that. I'll be happily surprised at that. I think this probably goes to a decision, and Jake wins, via decision with the judges. But it'll be entertaining. The walk up to the fight, the press conferences and the tweeting and the Instagrams and videos will be hilarious. And we'll be covering all of that at realnsc.com. Also, the Jake Paul Floyd Mayweather fight we'll be covering as well. The lead up to that. So be sure to check out that. So, yeah, that's my takeaway from this. Go check out the interviews. Ariel Helwani is hands down the best MMA journalist. He's a fantastic journalist, period. But, yeah, go check that out. So that's my prediction for that. I'd love to hear from you guys.